KFIZ News Time 8:10. Welcome to this week's edition of Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. Lines are open, 923-1450, 1-888-900-1450. You can email your questions in to kfizstudio@gmail.com. We've had a couple of questions in already, which we will be fielding shortly. We being Ron Rademann. He is here. Good morning, sir. Good to see you. Oops, didn't give you a mic.
I got to get my mic going here.
Yeah. I mean, you were talking, but hey, without a mic,
doesn't do much good.
Nobody hears you.
So, yeah, here, present and accounted for. And we also have Master Gardener Patty. I'll do the introductions here today, I guess.
Good morning.
And good friend, longtime associate, Luke Roffers from Roffers Landscaping.
Hello there.
Good morning, sir. And good morning to all of you. First of all, are you open today?
That's a good place to start, too. Yeah, Rademann's is open today. Open till noon on Saturdays, of course, and Monday through Friday till 4:30. But, yeah, till noon today, and I'm sure you could still get a delivery set up here yet for today, or otherwise, better yet, stop on out and say hi to the gang. Just 3 miles south of Fond du Lac, and then east off of 41 on County Trunk B. So,
alrighty, I'm trying to find these pictures here because one of the emails has pictures, and I wanted to find them for you. And then you've got the question over there by you, Ron. It was a call. It's a follow-up to a call from last week. The lady called with problems with her, I think it was a maple tree. So there's the pictures.
Yeah. It's from Terry. She says, hi, I called in last Saturday about my maple tree. I arranged 4 pictures that is losing its leaves on the north side. The last picture is the south side and still looks healthy. Please let me know your thoughts about my tree. So it's actually a picture of a Norway maple variety, and it appears to me as though it's the beginnings of a girdling root problem. And what that means, because it's a Norway maple, they're very susceptible to that starting at around this size or age. It's probably about a 6-inch caliper, maybe about 18 feet, more than 15, less than 20 feet tall, and about 15 feet across, if you can envision that. And the one side that's dying probably has a root that's recirculating back around, and then it's killing off that side of the tree, or it's basically choking off part of the vitality of the tree, where the sap is trying to run from its root system up to the tree. There's just not enough sap that gets up to it to push out all the new leaves. So you got a real full, dense tree on one side, normal on one side, and then it's real light, small leaves. You can kind of see the sky through it on that side, whereas you can't see the blue sky through it on the other side. And so, yeah, I would be about 90% sure that it's a girdling root. It's always hard to tell until you're looking right up close at it, but that would be my guess. Okay, so now what do
prognosis,
we do?
Yeah.
Now what do we do about it? Well, what you actually have to do is dig down around the base of the tree. What you want to do is dig down in about a 3-foot circumference, 3-foot diameter circle around the tree, and find out where there's roots that look like that aren't. The roots on a tree should come out like spokes on a wheel. And if you're seeing a root come across at an angle and it's tightening up against the trunk, then it's impeding the flow of sap up through that side of the tree. Now the girdling root could be on either side of the tree. It isn't necessarily on the side that's weakened or slow in coming, but more than likely it is. But it could be actually on the other side also. You don't know for sure.
My guess is the way it looks like it was planted too deep.
Yeah,
That causes girdling roots all the time.
right. It's either or the other problem comes in is you initially plant it properly, and then when you add mulch around it,
Yeah.
the mulch breaks down, turns into dirt, and then 2 years later you add more mulch around it, that turns into dirt, and 3 or 4 more years later you add another layer of mulch on it, and that turns into dirt.
Yep.
So if you want to prevent this from happening, you can mulch it, put shredded bark mulch around it, which we encourage here on the show, and then in a couple of years do that again. But then after you've done it 2 or 3 times, then go back in there, take all of that old mulch out of there, and then start from scratch. Put the new mulch back around it, because otherwise, it gives it the impression of it being planted too deep. And that's really what, as Patty said, it looks like in this case that it's planted too deep.
Sorry about that. I pulled the mic a little too quick. How would you recommend for them to put that mulch on with it already being too deep? Because it's going to kind of go up the tree a little bit more, Obviously, they want to stay back from the trunk, but...
Right. Well, go ahead and kind of clean out, a 3 or 4 foot diameter circle. Pull the grass out of there, pull the bark out of there. And this tree is salvageable. Sometimes by the time we see the pictures and it's too late already. But this one here, I think, could be saved. So, and actually, if you go online and search for girdling roots and problem solving, you'll see some pretty good descriptions, diagrams, sketches of how to go about it. So there are some advantages to the internet, and this is one of them, because it'll give you kind of tutorials on cleaning that up. So, and it's important to get right on it. If you decide to wait a couple years, then you can wait a couple more years for a new tree to start growing, because you'll be planting a new one. But this one here would be salvageable.
So what would they have to cut that root that's girdling? Would they have to slice it or chainsaw or something?
Yeah, like a sawzall or an axe works the best. And then you just saw that section of root right out of there. And you'll think you're killing the tree, but you're actually saving the tree. You kind of liken it to donating blood or trimming your fingernails or something like that. There's about, you're cutting off 1 or 2 or 3% of the roots. It'll appear as though you've got a pretty big pile of roots there, but in the scheme of things, you got to remember the roots on that tree go down 2, 3, 4 feet, and they go out maybe 10 or 12 feet across, maybe even longer or further out than that on a tree like that. So you might have a pile of roots there, but nothing compared to what you'll be leaving behind. And next year it'll look better, and the year after that it'll look better than that too.
So salvageable.
So it's salvageable in this case, yeah.
All righty. Let's take our first break before we go on.
All right, sure, let's take a break. Again, Rademann's open till noon today, Monday through Friday till 4:30. And best way to find us is work your way over to Highway 41 and then exit off on County B about 3 miles south of Fond du Lac, and we're just right there at the crest of the hill, about a quarter mile down the road.
We will be right back. KFIZ News Time 8:22. We are back. This is Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. And in case you've forgotten, the lines are open. Numbers 923-1450, 1-888-900-1450. Online, like a couple people have done, kfizstudio@gmail.com. That's for the bashful people. Give us a call, because a lot of times there are follow-up questions that Patty and Ron and Luke need to ask you, and it's really tough getting an answer when you ask a computer.
Well, and a good way to actually do it is kind of the way Terry did it here. You know, send the picture, then we can look at it, and then if she happens to be on the air,
You have a
or
call,
calls
yeah.
in, she can, we can answer her directly with the picture right in front of us.
Right. And you had another follow-up for her, too.
Yeah, Ron. What would you recommend her doing with those branches that already look dead? Should she cut them off or just leave them for now?
Well, I would try and leave them for now, because they may push out if you could, solve the problem. If they don't leaf out anymore this year or re-leaf, because some of them have some tiny leaves, some are, it's hard to see if there's buds there or buds that may push out. And once you pull that, let the sap start reflowing through there, those buds could push out. So I wouldn't be real quick to take that branch off. But if it doesn't leaf out then next year, then yes, you'd have to remove it.
Okay.
And in this case too, the grass has kind of overtaken what it's pretty much right up to the trunk. So you'll have to get that sod out of there first before you can even find the roots that are girdling.
How far out? 3-4 feet?
Well, you'll kind of be able to see as you go. Start out maybe with maybe 2 feet out from the center of the tree, a 3 to 4 foot circle, and then you might have to go out a little further. It wouldn't hurt to go out any further, and you might have to find the root of the problem.
No pun intended there, I'm sure. All righty, I got to move the mic way over to the computer because the font is really small. All righty, Walter has a question. Am I blaming the font or are my eyes that bad? Maybe it's a combination.
Sure.
He says, I have a question about blossom end rot on my tomatoes. I put up 3 no-raised beds in my garden last year, so this is the first year of planting tomatoes in them. The plants are doing fine. Everything looks good, except a lot of my tomatoes have blossom end rot. So do you happen to know, he asks, if there is a product out there to add calcium to the soil?
I don't believe that calcium is needed in this case, because our soils around here have plenty of calcium. It's just when we have a lot of moisture and then it dries out a little bit more, and then we have a lot of moisture again, which causes the calcium not to be able to be taken up into the plant. So then that's when the blossom end rot happens. It's the uneven fluctuation of really wet and heavy rains, and then then it dries off for a week or so and gets hot, and that's.
So the heavy rains we can't do anything about.
No.
So, but during the dry spell, though, you should probably keep it moist.
They should all be mulched. All your tomatoes should be mulched every time you plant tomatoes, because that's the best thing you can do for your plants.
Well, and that helps, it knocks the waves down, let's just say, so to speak. Then when it rains, the water is displaced equally, and as it's drying out, the moisture is displaced equally also. So there's the advantage of mulching. And, you can use, what do you generally,
I just generally
like lawn clippings?
Yeah,
and
that's what I use.
Mhm.
And it's, if I have cardboard, I'll put that down first to block out the light so the weeds can't grow, or several layers of newspaper, and then put lawn clippings on top of that, and I never have to water, and I never have to weed.
It's easier to find corrugated board these days than
Yeah, there's
newspaper.
not much I used to do newspaper, but now I'm doing cardboard.
Yep.
All righty, 923-1450, 1-888-900-1450. Lines are open for your questions.
I'd like to just kind of reintroduce Luke here again one more time. Luke is the owner of Roffers Landscaping, and he's a real good customer of Rademann's and ours. He buys a lot of, well, pretty much all of his products, landscape and gardening products from Rademann's. Do you want to talk a little bit about?
This last job we were on was kind of a mix of a couple different ones. We, unfortunately, with all the rain, we're working in the end of a ditch, a culvert by the driveway. But we're kind of incorporating some like.
And I saw you sent me some pictures. Actually, there you were putting in some outcropping stone.
Yeah, some 3 to 4 man outcropping, and then there's some pillars made out of some Versalock blocks, and then some natural stone caps that they made us at Rademann, and some plants from you. It's just all incorporated together, and it's at the end of a subdivision, so when it does rain, there's a lot of rushing water down this ditch, and what we've done in the past a few times is we dig out the bottom of the ditch and essentially put a French drain down the ditch before we put all the dirt back in and plant it.
So you'll put a tile in, or just or
not on this specific job we're doing now. That the customer actually said put them on the list for spring to go the rest of the way around the yard. But the first 12 feet out from the culvert in each direction, that's what we did this time. Just to we probably put about 10 inches of clear stone, a foot of clear stone down there too. That way, once the dirt eventually erodes a tiny bit, it gets caught up on little humps and stuff, and then the water stops flowing. But if we have all that nice drainage under it, it can kind of
it still drains,
keep going on its way. Otherwise, he gets stuck with the whole road's worth of water.
Nice. We do have a phone call.
Let's
Good morning.
take it.
You're on the air.
Good morning. Yeah, I have a question about the girdling on the trees, on maple trees.
Sure.
If I look at the roots and I got like a nice wide, say 8-inch root going out to the side and about a 2-inch root coming across the top,
That's
would
it.
that 2-inch root be cut out then?
Yeah, you want it to look like a wagon wheel,
Yeah, yep.
And if you see any cross members of that wagon wheel, those are the ones that have, if you're out 2 feet from the tree, you're okay. But if it's in that, within the, let's just say a foot or so of the main trunk, those are the ones. And it starts off, you'll have a major root.
Right.
And then just go ahead and cut that smaller one right out of there that's coming across at it.
Yeah, it's actually grown into that bigger root, but I can still cut that.
Sure.
To the left of it, say, and then dig it out a little bit and flatten that other root right out, huh?
Yeah, go ahead and take it right out of there.
Yep.
And even if it's growing into the other one, that's okay.
Yeah.
Try to leave that other one intact as best you can. But but if you end up, taking part of it or damaging it a little bit, that won't hurt it.
Right.
So.
Okay. Thanks
Nope.
a lot, Ron.
Yeah, great question.
Thanks for the call. 923-1450, 1-888-900-1450. The lines are open for your question. Alrighty.
Yeah, you can almost drive down any city street in a subdivision that's 25 or between 25 and 40 years old and identify trees up and down the street, and it's mostly maples. You'll see it primarily, and actually the city of Fond du Lac is planting less and less Norway maples just because of that same reason. They're replacing so many of them right now that were planted, 30 or 40 years ago that have succumbed to that girdling root problem. So it's, it's a shame, you get a nice tree, you finally get a nice tree after 30 years, and then it starts into decline. So unfortunately, that's the way it works.
Okay. 923-1450. We talked before we went on the air, and I think this is a good one to talk about on the air. Another tomato question. Luke brought it up. I got the same problem. We got like about 20-foot high tomato plants. That's a slight exaggeration, but
They're
Patty,
tall. They're tall enough that we need the 6-foot ladder.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Mine aren't quite that tall. Yours are better. But what do you recommend, Patty?
Well, what I do with mine is when they're about 2.5, 3 feet tall, I cut off, I trim back all the suckers. You can identify the suckers because they come out of it where the leaves come off the main stem. So
45-degree angles, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
At the crotches, for lack of a better term.
yeah,
Okay.
and it's not going to stop them from getting suckers, but at least you get the main stems going a lot stronger. And I leave it down to 2 to 3 main stems. Some people leave it to 1, and I feel like, well, you need a backup. So then when the 1st of August comes, they're usually already setting tomatoes, but they don't need to grow any more stem because it's already got the tomatoes on that you're going to want. So then I trim back the stems. So
how far?
So you mentioned doing that when the plant is 2 to 3 feet tall. What if it's already 5 or 6 feet tall? Now is it too late? Or?
well, you can still take out some of the suckers. It's not going to hurt it, and then go ahead and trim like a 5 or 6 foot plant back about a foot or so.
So just take off the main stem.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not taking the tomatoes out at that point
No,
in time.
no.
You're taking just more of the greenery out.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. And you'll see that a lot of suckers don't have any blossoms on them either, because the main stems is the main support for the blossoms.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay. Now I have another project. You too, Luke? Yeah. All righty. Lines are still open, 923-1450. I think everybody's out at the fair.
Yep. They are. I was out there plenty of
Judging
times.
tomatoes.
Yeah. Measuring plants.
Speaking of the fair, I was there last night and I seen some nice trees from Ron out there by one of the beer tents or something. I think they're supplying shade.
Yeah, there's the wine tent. They're put on. So if you do get out to the fair, go ahead and enjoy a glass of beer or wine, and you can sit underneath some picnic tables and take in the entertainment right there.
People watching.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people watching. 923-1450. If we want to do it online, KFIZ Studio at gmail.com.
Are you doing any lawns right now, Luke, or are you kind of holding off on that?
Installing them?
Yeah, brand new lawns or any seeding. I mean, the weather's been kind of spring-like, I guess, but now the 10-day outlook does call for some hotter rain today, but then hotter temperatures here, more July, August-like temperatures here in the next couple weeks.
We put one in about 2 weeks ago.
Boy, I bet you did
Came
real
up
well.
Yeah, it came up really good. Right now I'm kind of holding off a tiny bit. The schedule kind of doesn't need me to put one in right this second anyways, so we're just kind of waiting a little bit. And if we would have to, I would just make sure I had sprinklers all set up on timers and stuff, so it was getting watered early in the morning, so it was ready for the whole day.
Yeah, right now we're kind of at a little bit of a lull. It would be maybe best just to hold off for about a month, if you can, to do your lawn work, I would say, too.
We still do small planting stuff. Obviously, like if we put a patio in or something, we'll plant the 5-6 feet around the outside of it. But
because that you can kind of catch with one sprinkler.
yeah, you can
Whereas
manage
if
it
you're
yourself.
trying to, and the kind of the same thing goes if you got a small lawn area, it grows well if you seed it at this time of year because you got all the heat and the ground temperatures are warm. But at the same time, if you're doing a new lawn, maybe just hold off for about a month yet. Usually, everybody thinks they should wait until September, and of course, what happens then is it starts raining. And then pretty soon you're waiting until October. So I've always found it's better to do it a week or two early than a week or two late. So you should be kind of gearing up for mid August already rather than trying to wait and hit it perfectly on the day after Labor Day or whatever you think is best.
Yeah.
And the other, contractors too, they fill up too. So if you do want your lawn, to be put in now at this time of year, now's the time to give Luke a call. Don't wait until August or September and say it's the perfect time. Come do my lawn, because the perfect time will then become spring.
2026.
So it's never too early to call early and get on the schedule. And the same thing goes for Rademann's. If you're out to Rademann's and you're looking at decorative stone and the different flagstone patios, different retaining wall, things like that, go out there now and get it figured out. And then
sometimes the design process can take like a month and a half too, if you kind of keep going back and forth. We're in the middle of one of our designs right now where we just the patio got switched to the other side of the house. So now we switched the design to the opposite side, like complete change of thought, and it's still going to work out, look amazing, but some of them take a little while to get dialed in exactly what the people want, and that's what we want to give them. So
sure,
it takes a little bit of time, and it's not going to happen instantly, but
well, and sometimes you have an idea, or you as a homeowner have an idea of where you want your patio, or deck, things like that, patio deck combination. But you get somebody like Luke out there that's used to looking at backyards, and he sees different things always too. So sometimes it's you have an idea, but or stopping out to Rademann's, because again, Joe can help you with all that part of it too. So between Joe or Luke, they'll help you with your patio ideas.
There are resources.
And if you need any more ideas, check out our website, rofferslandscaping.com, ROFFERS.
Easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
Change of the subject a little bit. With mowing lawns now, with the rain, we haven't had much in the line of browning or any of that garbage this year. Should we be bagging or just mulching if we're doing it on a routine basis? What's your recommendation?
I think it's a personal preference.
Yeah, that's pretty personal. It's funny because I actually was mowing about 2 3/4 inch, and then when it started raining here so much over the last few weeks, I backed her down to about 2 1/4 because I didn't want to work so hard. And of course, it worked out just fine. Now I'm back up to the 2 3/4 mark on my own personal lawn. But I like to bag it. But if you have a bigger lawn, and I don't have a big lawn, so I can empty my bag a couple times and be done.
I cut mine in the pouring rain last week. That's when I found it was starting to sprinkle right as I pulled out of the shed with the mower. And I just looked at my wife and I said, should I just do it anyway? And I handed her my phone and went for it.
Yeah, good.
Sometimes you just got to do it, especially, for us who are, we work on everybody else's projects to make sure they're done at the perfect time, and that doesn't always mean it works that way for us.
Well, Patty, are you awake?
Yeah, I'm awake. I'm not into lawns. I'm into flowers and vegetables.
Anything we should be doing right now?
No, I'm glad that we've had enough moisture. I think people that cut their lawns too short just don't really care about their lawns, because it's really hard on grass to cut it really short. But people think, well, it's growing too much. I got to cut it short to stop it from growing so much. Well, that doesn't make any difference on how it grows.
Yeah, or to let it grow to like a foot and then cut it down to that short and then wait another month after that.
But
yeah, that's a good way not to do it.
Exactly. So I don't like seeing the lawns cut super short. Every friend of mine knows that.
Alrighty, we got a caller. Good morning. You're with us on the air.
Hi, I was wondering if there's any other name that cleanup goes by in stores.
Well, cleanup is actually glyphosate, and so it's a grass killer. And the only reason we use, there's a lot of Roundup products. Some are grass killers, some are weed killers. But the reason we have cleanup at Rademann's is that way we know exactly what we're sending you home with. But
Is that a dry application or a spray?
no, cleanup is only available as a spray. And if you're trying to do a grass killer, you want to use a contact herbicide that would spray on. And glyphosate, again, that's a spray on that you would spray on the weedy grasses that you have. Don't spray it on your lawn or you'll have a lot of circles.
So if you put cleanup on, say, near the end of the growing season, that's going to be effective yet, right?
Well, actually, what I've really found is spraying cleanup in early September works out kind of the best of both worlds, because that'll kill what's growing in green right then, but it also kills it down to the root, so it has a long way to go to get started next year.
So can you put preen on next spring after you applied cleanup this fall? To keep new seeds from germinating?
Yeah, well, the preen will work with will work separate of. Yes, to do. I would do putting preen on in the fall doesn't really do any good.
Right.
But if you would spray cleanup on, in September and then apply the preen in early spring, that would work. Is that what Patty was kind of?
Yeah.
That's basically what I was wondering.
Sure. No, that would be an ideal way to do it, actually.
Well, and if you put preen down and it's near your garden or in a vegetable garden or close to, where you're going to plant vegetables, all your vegetable seeds won't come up.
No, this is near behind. It's a weedy area behind my asparagus patch that I want to clear out and move some other asparagus plants that
Okay.
came up voluntarily.
Yeah.
And move them into that area.
The preen works for annual weeds and seeds.
Right.
So it won't.
It prevents seeds from
Yeah.
germinating.
So that'll work.
Mm-hmm. And so actually what you could do then is spray that area in September, and you might even want to do it in early September and then wait 10 days and spray it again. And then you could go ahead and move that asparagus at that time.
Oh, you can that soon?
Yeah, as it gets into later September, you could. Sure.
Okay.
And then plant it extra deep, dig a deeper hole, get it down in there real deep, and then just gradually fill in with soil as it tries to grow up out of that next year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right, thanks.
Alrighty, thank you for the call, and let's take our second break.
yeah, some of these things, it's all about timing. And, as we're, you can, if you're spraying grass killer now, it isn't going to be real effective because the grass is, a lot of them are out in seed already. So, Rademann's again open today until noon. You can still get a delivery, 920-922-7612, or stop on out just 3 miles south of Fond du Lac, east on B.
And we are back, 923-1450, 1-888-900-1450. Somebody was trying to call in during the last phone call. Unfortunately, with this phone system, I can only handle one call at a time. There's no handset. I can't put you on hold. So if you got a question, give a shout.
No walking and chewing gum at the same time.
Right, you got that right.
So call on back, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that,
So, community gardens is going well.
growing well.
Yeah, it's growing well.
Believe that.
Gets a little too wet to drive into the back part of it, but it's because that area in the front is so darn low. I can't keep it from water settling in there. So, but there's lots of nice gardens out there.
Nice. And for those that don't know, it's right on the East Frontage Road.
Yeah.
Kind of late for this year, but
Yeah.
but you can be thinking about next year.
Right.
Alrighty. We got our caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, I'd like to know some answers about getting rid of Japanese beetles.
Yeah, that's about that time to start in on that. Are you seeing them right now up in the trees, or are you just anticipating?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm seeing some slight damage on a tree.
Yeah, then you could go ahead and spray the insecticide 8, as in the number 8, is the one that'll work best for Japanese beetle if they're already alive and growing and chewing, let's just say. And you might have to do a second or maybe even a third application but if you can catch them early like this, it's always better and easier than waiting. So I would go ahead and get started on them right now. Wait about 10 days, spray them again, and maybe wait another 10 days, and by then you should have them. But yeah, you can't really do too much. The annual tree and shrub insecticide will work, but not anymore now. You have to wait and do that more later in the fall, in October, or otherwise in spring. So, and then you can just put it around the trees that are mostly affected. So you're gonna have to.
Can you sprinkle that insecticide, granular, on the ground to kill the grubs before they hatch?
I think it's probably already too late for that.
Okay.
You possibly, if you did it like
Boy, if you
early spring before
Yeah.
they come out.
Yeah, you have to get them. That's the best way to actually control them is to do it in either fall or spring. But I'm afraid by now,
Yeah.
any granular or liquid that you would mix and put around the tree, I think it's too late already, because I'm sure they're hatched and moving around.
Yeah. I have swarms of them eating a couple of my rose bushes, and I was going out with my little bucket of soapy water and knocking them in, and half of them would fly away. And then I got out my neem oil spray. That just, they fell off in buckets on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them do fly away too when you start spraying. So
Yeah, there isn't too much you can do about that.
No.
But if you can catch them early before they, and if you do it now and then wait about 10 days and the only thing is now you're gonna have to kind of watch your air temperatures, because if it gets above 85, you shouldn't be spraying insecticides on trees, or for that matter, herbicides on the ground, because they volatilize. So, so you'll have to be, now this weekend here, the temperatures are going to be cooler yet. But as we move into the middle of next week, when it starts getting into that 85, 87, 90 degrees, then you're going to have to hold off. So you want to...
What's the name of this product again, Ron?
It's 8, as in the numeral 8. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Number 8.
and it's spelled just like that too.
Yeah, 8.
Can you get it at Rademann's, or can you get it?
Yeah, that should be available at Rademann's. It's pretty readily available, if you're, but yes, it should be available. They would definitely have it available at Rademann's. And there's a couple of different formulations and ways to spray too. My favorite one is the one that you hook on the end of the garden hose, and but if it's out further in the yard, you can mix it up in a tank sprayer too. But
this tree is about 30 feet high.
Oh, geez.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and if you can, you can even take the garden hose and just knock them down, so to speak, jet it all the way up there. But but a hose end sprayer will get up, usually close to 20 feet, and that'll get most of them. You don't have to kill every last one, but if you can just reduce the population, it's helpful.
Right.
So,
okay, thank you.
All righty, thanks for the call. Let's take our final break.
All right, break time. Again, you can get your insecticide aid out at Rademann's. Head out there right away because we're only open till noon today. Again, probably today not the best day to spray, but coming up tomorrow and Monday would be a good time before we get the hot temperatures. So just 3 miles south of Fond du Lac, east on County B, a quarter mile at the crest of the hill.
KFIZ News Time, 8:57. Waning moments of this week's edition of Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. We could sneak in a really quick question if you call right now, 923-1450. Otherwise, these three will take it home, as they say in the biz.
Did you have any other projects of interest that you've been working on the past week or two, Luke?
This last week we were at that job in the culvert by the culverts at the end of the ditch for the whole week. Except on Monday we went and sealed a stamp patio that we poured the previous week. And before that, I think we did another stamp patio, but that one was actually kind of neat. It had some built-in raised planters like built into the patio, and like steps on one side, ramp on the other side. It's just kind of cool. A little bit of a variety of different things.
In those cases, you actually did the design of the patios?
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I go there, look at it, measure it up, and then I sketch a little bit with a pencil, and then my wife does all the 3D images and stuff that we send to people. And from there, we just keep making changes till it's exactly what they want. Sometimes what they need, like certain scenarios call for certain things too.
And then wait for the right weather to implement it.
Yeah, we have this like tent thing that you see at kids' soccer events and stuff. So the rain doesn't stop us too often unless we're pouring concrete. But.
Yeah, you have to kind of be always on the adjustment. It seems like you figure out. We always have like three or 4 or 5 different plans. If it's windy, you do one thing. If it's cooler, you do another thing.
It's like in football. It's like an audible, you know.
Yeah, you're
Monday morning, 6:55 a.m. It's like audible to the second plan, you know.
Yeah, depending on how wrong the weather turns out to be from the day before. So
You know what that means in the background?
You're playing our song. We're either starting or we're finishing.
Yeah.
I think we're finishing. So yeah, winding down here. Rademann's again open till noon today, Monday through Friday till 4:30. You can still get a delivery if you give Joe a call here real quick, 920-922-7612, or stop on out and say hi. Just 3 miles south of Fond du Lac. If it rains, it's a good day to go visit Joe.
There you go. Our thanks to Luke Roffers from Roffers Landscaping. Master Gardener Patty, thank you. Thanks, of course, to Ron Rademann, and to all of you for your questions. News Talk 1450 KFIZ in Fond du Lac, it's 9.